They are offering you the promotion. You're excited. You're ready. You've worked hard for this. But before you say yes, there are three questions you need to ask yourself. These questions will save you months, maybe years of struggle. This episode might be the most important one of the series. Here's what usually happens. You get the offer, your manager says, "We think you're ready. We believe in you." You feel validated, seen, chosen. Your family celebrates. Your friends congratulate you. You update LinkedIn. You say yes immediately. And then 3 months in, you realize this role is nothing like you expected. The support you were promised doesn't exist. You're drowning in responsibilities you weren't prepared for. You miss the work you were actually doing. And you can't admit you're struggling because everyone thinks you're crushing it. Sound familiar? Here's the truth. The time to ask the hard questions isn't 3 months in, it's before you say yes. I'm Dr. 𝗕𝗏𝗄𝗏. I've coached dozens of technical professionals through leadership transitions. And here's what I wish someone had told every single one of them before they accepted the role. Not everyone who's offered a promotion should take it. Not because they're not capable, but because readiness isn't just about skills. It's about mindset shifts you may not be ready to make. It's about organizational support that might not exist. It's about trade-offs you might not be willing to accept. Saying yes to the wrong promotion at the wrong time can derail your career, your confidence, and your well-being. So before you say yes, let's ask three questions that will tell you if you're truly ready or if this opportunity is truly right for you. Here's the first question. Are you ready to let go of being the expert? Here's what I mean. Right now, your value comes from what you can do, your technical skills, your expertise, your ability to solve the hardest problems. As a leader, your value comes from what your team can do without you, but because of you. That means you won't be the one writing the code anymore. You won't be the one solving the technical problems. You won't be the smartest person in the room. And if you try to be, you will undermine your team. Your identity has to shift. And it has to shift from I'm the person with the answers to I'm the person who develops people who find the answers. That's not a small shift. That's an identity shift. And if you're not ready to make it, that's okay. But you need to know that before you say yes. Because if you take the promotion and you keep trying to be the expert, you'll struggle. Your team will struggle. And you'll wonder why leadership feels so hard. So ask yourself honestly, can you find fulfillment in developing others instead of doing the work yourself? Can you step back and let your team figure things out, even when you could solve it faster? Can you celebrate their wins as much as you used to celebrate your own? If the answer is yes, or I'm willing to learn how, then keep going. If the answer is no, or I don't want to give that up, that's valuable information. Maybe this isn't the right promotion, or maybe it isn't the right time. And that's okay too. Staying an exceptional individual contributor is a valid and valuable career path. Can you handle being responsible for outcomes you don't directly control? This is the one that breaks most new leaders. As an individual contributor, you control your work. If you work hard, execute well, and deliver results, you succeed. It's direct, it's controllable, it's clear. As a leader, you're responsible for your team's results, but you can't control whether they're motivated, whether they execute well, whether they communicate effectively, whether they follow through, whether they handle feedback well. You can't. You're responsible for outcomes you can only influence, not control. That means your team misses deadlines, you're accountable. Someone on your team makes a mistake, you own it. A project fails because someone didn't follow through, that's on you. And here's the part nobody prepared you for. You'll work harder than you ever have, and sometimes it still won't be enough. Because leadership isn't about your efforts, it's about enabling, coaching, and trusting others. That loss of direct control, it's uncomfortable. It's anxiety inducing. So ask yourself, can you sleep at night knowing your success depends on other people's choices? Can you let go of perfectionism and accept good enough when it comes from your team? Can you handle the emotional weight of being accountable for outcomes you can't directly create? If yes, you're ready for the responsibility mindset. If no, you might need more time, more support, or a different role structure. And I want to share this with you. It's not weakness, it's self awareness. Are you willing to have uncomfortable conversations? Not occasionally, but weekly. Here's what leadership actually is: a series of uncomfortable conversations. Your performance isn't meeting expectations. Here's what needs to change. I know you want that project, but I'm giving it to someone else. Here's why. The way you spoke to your teammate in the meeting wasn't okay. We need to talk about it. You're not getting the promotion this cycle. Here's the feedback. I need you to step up in this area. And if you can't, we need to discuss next steps. That's not occasional, that is the job. And if you're a technical person, someone who became great at solving technical problems, not people problems, these conversations feel terrible. You don't want to hurt people's feelings. You don't want to be that kind of boss. You hope things will get better on their own. Newsflash, they will not. And every day you avoid the conversation, the problem gets worse. Your team loses trust, your high performers get frustrated, standards slip, and you lose sleep. Leadership means caring enough to be honest. It means having the conversations that feel uncomfortable in the moment, because not having them causes more damage long term. So, I want you to ask yourself, can you deliver difficult feedback without softening it into meaning nothing? Can you hold people accountable even when it's a little awkward? Can you prioritize what's right for your team over being liked by everyone? If yes, you have the courage leadership requires. If no, that's something you can develop, but you need to be honest that it's a gap. Because if you take this promotion thinking that you can avoid conflict, you're setting yourself up for misery. And your team deserves better than a leader who won't have the conversations that matter. Okay, so you've asked yourself the three questions. Am I ready to let go of being an expert? Can I handle being responsible for things I can't control? Am I willing to have uncomfortable conversations weekly? Here's what your answers mean. If you answered yes to all three, you're ready. Not perfectly ready, nobody is, but you have the mindset foundation that leadership requires. Take the promotion, get support, do the work. If you answered, I'm willing to learn to one or two, you're in the growth zone. You see the gaps and you're committed to developing through them. Take the promotion, but negotiate for support, coaching, mentorship, training. Don't go in blind. Now, if you answer no to one or more, pause. That's not disqualifying, it's information. Ask yourself, is this a not yet or a not this role question? Maybe you need 6 more months to prepare mentally. Maybe you need to see if the organization will provide the support structures we talked about in episode 4. Maybe you need to negotiate different terms, a trial period, a co-leadership structure, more resources. Or maybe, and this is valid, you recognize you don't actually want this kind of leadership role. And trust me, that is okay. Saying no to the wrong opportunity creates space for the right one. And if you decide you are ready, here's what to negotiate before you accept. Don't just negotiate salary, negotiate support. Ask for the following. Make sure you ask for a structured 30, 60, 90-day onboarding plan with clear expectations, bi-weekly developmental check-ins with your manager that are separate from project updates, access to leadership training or coaching, and if they don't have it internally, make sure that you can do it externally, a mentor outside of your vertical who's been through this transition, clarity on decision-making authority. What can you decide? What needs approval? Resources, like what's the budget? What's the head count? What tools do we have? You should know what you're actually working with. Now, if they say yes, we will figure it out as we go, that is a red flag. That's code for we're promoting you without supporting you. And you get to decide if you're willing to navigate that. But at least you'll know what you're walking into. Here's what happens when you ask these 3 questions before you accept. You make an informed decision instead of an emotional one. You negotiate for what you need instead of hoping it appears. You enter leadership with your eyes open instead of being blindsided 3 months in. And if you decide not to take the promotion, you save yourself months of struggle, self-doubt, and burnout. You preserve your confidence instead of eroding it in a role you weren't ready for in the first place. And you create space to prepare properly or pursue a different path that actually fits who you are. Either way, you win because you chose consciously instead of reacting automatically. Here's what I want you to do. If you are considering a promotion right now, answer these 3 questions honestly. Write them down. Don't just think about it, write them down. Secondly, if you're already in the leadership role and struggling, go back and answer them now. It'll show you where the gap is and what you need to develop or advocate for. Thirdly, download the Before You Say Yes decision guide. The link is in the description. It includes all 3 questions, a decision framework, and negotiation scripts. I also want you to drop a comment. If you could go back to before you accepted your leadership role, what would you ask yourself? Your answers might help someone else avoid your struggle. Saying yes to a promotion without asking the hard questions isn't brave, it's reckless. And saying no to a promotion you're not ready for isn't failure, it's self-awareness. The best leaders aren't the ones who say yes to everything. They're the ones who know when to say yes and when to say not yet. You get to choose consciously. The next episode is You've Accepted the Role, Now What? We're breaking down exactly what to do and what not to do in your first 90 days as a leader, because this is where you build credibility or you lose it. This is where you set the tone or let chaos set it for you. The first 90 days make or break your leadership trajectory. We're going to make sure you nail them. So that's our next episode. I'm Dr. 𝗕𝗲𝗄𝗏. This is the leadership gap nobody talks about. Ask the questions, make the choice, own the outcome. Let's keep closing the gaps together.